He will be performing next week in a Country Thunder right here in Calgary. That is Dean Brody and Goodbye on CJWE 838. Good morning. Another young man who will be taking the stage next weekend joins us in the studio. Chad Brownlee, welcome.
Thank you. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, it's been a while, hey?
Has been. Too long.
You've been a busy guy, hey?
Yeah, I have. It's been the year of a transition, getting this new music going, and we finally got the train moving, so pretty exciting.
CCMAs, of course, next month in Hamilton. You're up for Fans' Choice Award, Male Artist of the Year. What does getting the nomination nod from the CCMAs mean for you?
Oh, it means a lot. Every time you see your name in a category with the other names that are there, it's always so humbling. And to get that Fans' Choice one, that's the big one.
Yeah.
So that's always great.
You killed it last year at the CCMAs. I was there, and you performed Something We Shouldn't Do, and that really got the house going, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. You hope that your 3.5 minutes is memorable and you leave a lasting impression. So it's always fun to be on that stage.
What's the coolest thing in addition to taking the stage at the CCMAs every year?
Just seeing everybody.
Yeah.
It's one big reunion. It really is a small community in the country world, and there's so many great people and the friendships I've made over the past almost a decade now that I've been in this industry. It's one big party, and it's always good to see everybody.
Chad Brownlee joining CJWE. Chad, what's a bigger challenge for you, writing or performing?
Writing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, performing, you just jump on the train and away you go. All the hard, we'll call it grunt work, is done before the writing, the recording, the rollouts of the singles and the albums. That's the fun part. You get up on stage and you just enjoy yourself and get the crowd into it. So, yeah.
So we know you're a huge Calgary Flames fan.
Oh, yeah, right. You're telling lies. Telling lies.
You're a Canucker, aren't you?
I grew up a BC boy. Oh, yeah. Been a Canuck fan since I had a memory.
It's kind of cool, though, because you were, before injuries and all that, that was your ambition, to play hockey.
It was, yeah. My whole life since I was 5 years old till, I guess, 23 when I stopped playing. Played NCAA at Minnesota State and 1 year playing in the minors. And up until that point, the goal was to play in the NHL. That was all I was thinking about. And music was just something that I did on the side. It was kind of a journal when I'd write. And it wasn't until, halfway through my first year of playing in the minors that the void changed. The void that was created from music changed to music, or changed, into a new career. And I just haven't looked back since. It's been a pretty good ride. So
what was that transition like between hockey and then going to country music?
It was, I call it the easiest, hardest decision that I ever made in my life, because I knew I had to make it. Hockey was just stressing me out, and I didn't want to go to the rink anymore, and my love for music was so obvious. So I knew what I wanted to do, but the hard part was actually making that transition in your life. Your identity as a hockey player was so strong. Everybody knew me as such. To tell my dad that I wasn't going back for another season was one of the hardest things, but he was so fantastic. I know my mom was excited because she, hated when I got hurt, and she loved my music side. So that was the hardest part, was just personally. It took me a year really to feel comfortable in my new direction, even though I knew that was exactly what I wanted to do. Of course, The Best That I Can was your debut song back in 2009. How have you grown as an artist since then? Oh, I've grown a lot, man. I was so green back then. Just literally a singing hockey player, thrown into the fire very early. I was so fortunate. I was playing a huge festival. I played Big Valley Jamboree main stage literally a year after quitting hockey. Wow. So I was pretty fortunate to have the opportunity I did early on. So I had, some Bambi legs early, and then they just kept getting stronger. And I think the only way to learn is to experience all those things and get on those stages and get into writing rooms with some of the best writers in the world. And each time I did, I just kept getting better and better. And, that pattern just continues. You never want it to plateau. Right. And that's when your career's done. I can always get better as an entertainer and as a songwriter. And it was the same in hockey. If you get to the point where you think, I've made it, this is it, your career's pretty much done. And really, the country music community has really embraced you. They have. I've been so fortunate. My fan base has just been so loyal, and it seems to grow with every single and every record. So it's a pretty amazing community to be involved in. So Country Thunder next week, and some big names, including yourself, taking the stage. You pretty excited for that show? I am, absolutely. Yeah, I toured with Dierks back in 2012, right. So anytime I get to share the stage with him again is fantastic. He's just one of the best human beings and entertainers out there. So always great to see him. What was one key piece of advice that he offered to give you? Dierks Bentley. I think it wasn't just a piece of advice that he spoke. It was what he did. How he was with his fans, how he is on stage, how he communicated with everybody. Just a real humble, down-to-earth guy, and I find guys like that are my mentors and leaders. You know, when I was a hockey player, it was Trevor Linden, Joe Sakic, Steve Yzerman, these humble superstars, and I can put Dierks Brownlee into that category as well.
And you're a very humble guy.
I was brought up pretty well, so I, just try to treat people well and hope they do the same for me.
Chad Brownlee joining CJWE. Dear Drunk Me is your brand new song, and I love this tune.
Thanks, man.
Tell us all about it.
Yeah, it's that letter to your drunk self, and I think a lot of us can relate to that, because when we are under the influence, a lot of things are a good idea.
Yes.
And in hindsight, when we wake up the next morning, they probably weren't. So let's try to stop those in advance, and that's what Dear Drunk Me is all about. Just don't call your ex-girlfriend. Don't try to get that relationship back together. Terrible idea, dude. Don't do it. So yeah, it's the fun one on the record, and we wanted to come out of the gates with it.
What's that one thing you would tell yourself?
Probably stay off social media.
Yes.
Because once it's out there, man. So turn your phone off. Don't do it.
Good to see you again, man.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me.
Here's Chad Brownlee, Dear Drunk Me on CJWE.